Okay, this is question 15 on the non-calculator paper. There's a lot of information in this question, a lot of writing, right? There's a table up here. I think a lot of people see this and they feel quite daunted by it. Don't need to be too phased by it because it's actually pretty straightforward. This question continues on another page, right? So I'll carry forward from here. The table shows the minimum and maximum distances people should sit from different sized TV screens when they're watching TV. Here are the TV screens, so 28 inches, 38 inches, 42 inches, and the minimum distance they should sit from the TV and the furthest, the maximum distance they should sit from the TV. James has a TV with screen size 32 inches. He's going to watch TV. What is the minimum distance James should sit from his TV screen? 32 inches, there it is. The minimum distance, just pick it up from the table, it is 4 feet. There's just one mark for that, so we're just picking up that information from the table. 32 inches is the size of the TV screen, 4 feet. The next part of the question, Shiraz has a TV with a screen size of 38 inches. He's going to watch TV. Work out the difference, so that's really important, the difference between the minimum distance and the maximum distance Shiraz should sit from the TV screen. Now there are 2 marks for this question. 1 mark is going to be for the answer, but 1 mark is also going to be for the workings out, because you need to work out the difference between the maximum and the minimum distance he should sit from the TV. Now go to your table and always bear in mind how big the TV is, 38 inches. The minimum distance is 4.75 and the maximum distance is 9.5. Now, this question is going to be about subtracting decimals, right? Because the maximum distance is 9.5, the minimum distance is 4.75. Now notice I've written this intentionally this way because I'm going to do a takeaway and I've lined up the decimal points. Right, lining up the decimal points, I'm going to subtract and I put a 0 in there to fill in that blank so that they're both to 1 decimal place. Just move this up a little bit so that you could see the workings being done. So, you need to go through this and think about this sensibly. This is where your subtraction skills will come in. 0, take away 5, can't happen. So I need to borrow 1 from that 5. That 5 becomes 4, and that 0 becomes 10. 10 take away 5 is 5. 4 take away 7, can't do it. So I need to borrow 1 from the 9, which is going to become 8. And that 4 is now 14. 14 take away 7 is 7. I'm putting the decimal point back in there because it's in line. And 8 take away 4 is 4. So just rewind this if you want to see how I've done the subtraction again, but take your time with the subtraction. The difference between the maximum and minimum is 4.75 feet. Part C and D on this question are continued on the next page, and here they are. You can use this rule to work out the maximum distance. So you can use this rule to work out the maximum distance to sit from a TV screen. The maximum distance is the screen size in inches divided by 4. So whatever the screen size is in inches, you divide it by 4. Claire has a TV with screen size 24 inches. 24 inches. She's going to watch TV. Use the rule to work out the maximum distance Claire should sit from the TV. So the rule says the maximum distance is the screen size, which in this case is 24, divided by 4. You always divide by 4. That's what the rule says. Whatever the screen size is, you divide it by 4. You need to know 24 divided by 4. We did that earlier in the paper. Whenever you're dividing by 4, that's like halving it and halving it again. 24 divided by 4 is 6. So that's one easy mark there, especially since you've done that same calculation earlier in the paper. Okay, then we come on to part D. Richard should sit a maximum distance of 12 feet from his TV screen. 12 feet from his TV screen. So what they've done in this part of the question is they've told you what the maximum distance he should sit from the TV screen is. The maximum distance is 12. Right? The maximum distance is 12. They want us to work out the size of the screen, the size of Richard's TV screen. So 12 is the screen size divided by 4. Now, for those of you who don't understand what I've just done here, I'm using the rule. The rule says that the maximum distance in feet to sit away from the TV is the screen size divided by 4. In this question, they told us what the maximum distance was, so I've replaced that with 12. The screen size is what they've asked us to work out, and always remember you're dividing by 4. So in other words, I want to know what number divided by 4 will give me 12. What number divided by 4 will give me 12? In other words, right, if you think about your algebra skills, what's the opposite of dividing by 4? Well, if I do 12 times by 4, I should be able to work out the screen size. 12 times by 4 is 48. And that's going to be the screen size. This question in total is 6 marks. Although it's not easy, it's not the most difficult question. And it's an easy 6 marks to get if you read it carefully, you take your time, and if you especially check it over and think about what the question is asking you to do. Make sure you get them all.